Of the... Okay, what? Look at that crazy labyrinth. So this
The
is
beam causes you to start floating.
Salutations viewers, my name is Game Dame and welcome back to another one of my Let's Plays. We have the beginner's guide here for you guys today. So I have never played this game. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. So without further ado, let's begin the game. I'm excited. I haven't done a Let's Play for some time. Please make sure audio is on. It very much is. Do not worry. My person, I'm definitely a little bit big. Yeah, right there is perfect.
Hi there.
Hi.
Thank you very much for playing the beginner's guide.
Yes.
My name is Davey Wreden. I wrote the Stanley Parable, and while that
Love
game
Stanley
tells a pretty
Parable.
absurd story,
Very good game.
today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named CODA. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met CODA in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make.
Okay, cool.
So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way.
Oh,
And,
thank you.
Mostly it's just CODA learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by...
Wait, I want to put on maybe... Yes, put on the closed captions. So that way we can all read it.
And it kind of makes you wonder.
If it shows up. Full captions, yeah. Where is it? Ooh. No, let's just keep going.
What was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of CODA's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves.
Okay.
I want to get to know who this human being really is.
All right.
And that's exactly what we're going to do here.
Perfect. We get to know more about CODA.
It's 2008. CODA starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet. He just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games folder.
Important.
So, you know, this was just how he worked.
That's pretty
he
great.
tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating
Okay,
again.
yeah, no, that's awesome.
And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to CODA. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation
welcome.
that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction.
Oh,
Let's take a look
introductions
at
are
CODA's
over.
first
Okay.
proper game.
First proper game.
As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
November 2008. Let's go. First game. Oh, very reminiscent on like one of the puzzle games I've played. Ah! Whisper machine status active.
This game is called Escape from Whisper.
Oh, there's.
And it's
there
one of
they
the
are.
more generic games you'll see from CODA.
There are the captions. They're up top. What the heck? So this game's called Whisper. All right, can't go in there because that had fire and stuff all about it.
You can click to fire the gun.
Yeah. I'll fire the gun when I see enemies.
Security call reached.
Security hole breached.
It kind of looks like this game was abandoned mid-development.
Yeah, it really was
For
abandoned
instance,
mid-development.
You have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere. But then clearly there are no enemies anywhere.
Yeah.
You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe CODA thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Okay. We'll talk about that.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Oh, it's perfect. That is actually fantastic. You can see the bottom of the universe. Okay. The I mean, I don't even know if did CODA really make all of these games, or is this just like, this is the game itself? Oh, is this a puzzle?
Apparently the space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Oh, thank you. It had a labyrinth in it?
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine.
Okay, I got you. Very interesting idea.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam.
So you're telling me to kill myself for everyone
But
else.
for all of our lives. Would you do it? Could you give yourself?
So I have to pick for the greater good. I'm gonna do it. Leroy Jenkins.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what CODA had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Wait, so I would just... So what happens? What happens? Oh, the... Okay, what? Look at that crazy labyrinth. So this
The
is
beam
what...
causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but CODA identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
I feel like this game wouldn't have been that bad, but I don't even know if like these are actually CODA's games or they just created these games for the narrative itself. Okay, so the past was behind her. Oh.
Yep. In this game, you can only walk backwards.
Oh, that is very interesting. I can only walk backwards?
So it's
But
a
the
short
future
and
could
relatively
not be
minimalist
seen.
experiment combining motion and narrative.
Where does the
It is
future
less
keep
advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete.
It does.
CODA's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply
When
basing
she
it on a
stops and looks,
pre-existing
it
trope.
becomes clearer. Yeah, it does feel a little bit like more complete in this instance. But if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength? Strength for what? To confront it.
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say,
Oh.
and then it ends.
Very short
Didn't
narrative,
need
yeah.
anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick.
Yeah, it really does get out
Okay,
quick.
next one.
Next one, November. Oh, this reminds me a lot like a Slender Man game. God, it is pitch black around me. You are now entering your death. I'm now entering what?
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it
Okay,
interesting.
I will see what makes it interesting. What was that?
Oftentimes, CODA would
Nonsense in
put
nearly
bizarre
every
titles like
direction.
this one at the start of his games.
Okay.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once
Very
he stopped work on a
interesting.
game, like, that was it. It was dead to him.
I wonder
And
why
I
you
don't
would
agree with
stop.
that at all,
I'm not a
but
computer
what are you gonna
programmer,
do?
but like, or a video game creator or developer. But why would you stop a project?
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if CODA's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all?
Yeah, honestly.
Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Okay. Thank you. So strange. You walk around talking down for people pursuing their hopes and dreams. A key in one unlocks the doors. You are the queen, dusting your jewelry while your kingdom is destroyed. You are a gate. Play as the camera fielding an advertisement.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Yeah. What?
CODA would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate
Very interesting. Yeah, this is so
But that it takes time to
interesting.
really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get
It
there.
could be a very slow climb to get there, and I totally get that. You play as a loud, bodiless sound, walking around confusing people. That actually sounds like a fun game. Nope, that next one. Ready, set, fish. Whoa. Okay. What do we got here? Another walkthrough? Like, what is this one going to be about? Is this one going to be motivational? Is this one going to be spooky?
Well, this is new for CODA. It's an actual puzzle.
Oh, wow. It is an
Go ahead
actual
and see if you
puzzle.
can solve it. Don't forget that
Oh.
solution because we're going to see this puzzle again.
Oh, I
soon.
won't forget that solution.
see it a lot.
Okay. Is that seriously? All right. So he made a new puzzle game. Wait. So who? Like, I know he was explaining who CODA was earlier, but it's the fact that, like, these types
So
of
that
puzzles.
seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you
Yeah,
get to the end.
simple enough.
All right, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls
no.
from this room.
All right. So now I just press enter. Whoa. Holy guacamole. So this is just one of many rooms.
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find
Wow,
it funny that
that's
this game comes
crazy.
after the stairs game since they essentially convey the opposite idea.
Yeah.
So, in the stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world.
Yeah, honestly.
Either way, I think that the point is the same. Is that most of the time, you don't get to know what you're missing. Or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player.
No, it's not.
So if your role here is not to understand, then what is
Then
it?
I don't know what the role is if it's not to understand. Oh, we're back here. So now what happens? You are now exiting. What are we exiting?
Uh-huh. So this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that CODA believes his games are connected somehow.
Interesting.
It could even be that the stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them.
Then we
And
gotta
once we
see them
have,
all.
We can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Oh, I would love to find out more, to be quite honest. This is so interesting. Interesting. The Great and Lovely Descent. Whoa! Oh my lord. Very white. I love the look of it though. It's very beautiful, actually, if you think
Let's
about
talk
it.
about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do.
Yes.
So in other words, the engine
The
is a
streetwise
set of tools
fool.
for game development.
I understand that.
To make all of these games, CODA is using an engine called Source.
Okay.
Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear
Oh,
corridors.
what the heck?
That's why so many of CODA's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can do is work with something
the
that
tools
well.
available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work
This
they're
is
going to
so
end up
cool.
making. You might consider paying
very
attention
abstract.
to the architecture in CODA's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at
It's
producing
like spiraling.
linear, boxy corridors.
It's like very spiraling. Whoa, my gosh, that is so cool. Look at that. I really like this like abstract way that they're going about this. They're honestly thinking like this is what game developers go through and like their process and like what kind of game engines they're using. But he's telling it from a completely like different perspective. Wow. It's like seeing the inner workings of a car. Intricate yet lots to do and a lot of components that just intertwine with each other that make it work. This is cool. Uh-oh. Alright, now we're in a maze. Oh, I'm in an elevator? Okay. It looks like I can only...
This prison, funny enough, in CODA's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before
Wow.
letting you go.
A full hour?
If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea to skip that notion. A full
This is something that
hour.
he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable. Whether
I
it
would
means
think
anything
so.
if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag.
That's a lot of empty box
There
games that you just play. I mean, I feel like any game is playable, but I feel like sometimes a game is just there for the artistic value. And you just got to follow what the artist is like showing. It's like a... Not every game's going to play like a game. It could be some sort of simulation.
It's the puzzle again.
It could
With
be...
the exact same solution as the last time.
It could be something completely different, just like a virtual experience.
There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that CODA is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very
Sure,
shortly.
yeah, I'm excited to hear what you have to say about it. I mean, so far, it's been so interesting just to see exactly how this is being sent. Listen. Speak. You there, did you come
Here,
from up
CODA
above?
begins
What was
using
up
a
there?
kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out
Yes,
of the
there is a
engine's
world
chat
stance.
capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
That's the world above. You've been there. Now, this is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yeah, I remember that. Yes, I did. That was literally the last thing I did before coming here. Again, perfect. Now, please tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution. Tell us how to get to the other side. I mean, I know how I solved it. I said, trust me, you don't want to go over there. Oh no, but I do. We do. We need to get there. Do you understand? It is the most important thing in the world. We have to escape this prison. There must be an ending. I promise you there is nothing I want more. I wish I moved my person for you guys, but that's where the dialogue was. I read it out loud for you guys. That's very interesting. Oh, goodness. Hello, how did you get here? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? Yes, I solved it. Do you want to know how to solve it? No, we actually find the black space between the doors to be far more interesting. Have you seen it yet? Yeah, I do know what you're talking about. Actually, now that you mention it, I remember feeling strange as I passed through it. Don't think too hard about it. You'll see it again soon. So I'm going to see the same puzzle over and over again. Very interesting.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Okay. The final floor. This is so trippy. This is insanely trippy for a game like this. Honestly, but we are going to cut that here for today, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Welcome back to another one of my Let's Plays. I know it has been some time, but I really wanted to start off with a game that was like, you know, kind of easy into it and like a lot of people recognize. But that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe and or follow to my YouTube and or my Twitch. You know where my YouTube is at, but you can find my Twitch at twitch.tv/thegamedame. Thanks, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Circle of